Asteroids, volcanoes. All of these have been proposed as the cause of the mass extinction that killed off the dinosaurs. But what really happened 66 million years ago? We tend to think of the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs as this huge apocalyptic event that brought an end to the Cretaceous period and wiped out 75% of all species on Earth. And while it's true that an asteroid did slam into our planet during the late Cretaceous, scientists have been debating for decades whether that asteroid really was the main cause of the mass extinction or if it was just a contributing factor. You see, evidence for the asteroid is pretty overwhelming. There's the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, which dates to the end of the Cretaceous. There are also tektite deposits and a layer of iridium that correspond to the asteroid impact. Iridium is rare on Earth, but it's common in asteroids. So the presence of this element tells us that something from space slammed into our planet around 66 million years ago. But there are a few problems with the asteroid theory. For example, fossils of terrestrial animals and plants show that the mass extinction didn't happen instantaneously. It took several million years for the number of species on Earth to return to pre-impact levels. Also, the impact winter that would have followed the asteroid strike would have only lasted about 1 or 2 years at most. But the fossil record shows that the rate of evolution didn't really slow down until about 100,000 years after the impact. And finally, the asteroid theory doesn't really explain why so many marine organisms went extinct. The asteroid would have had the strongest effect on life near the impact site, meaning that the oceans would have been the most affected. But the fossil record shows that the extinction wasn't any more severe in the oceans than it was on land. So if it wasn't an asteroid, then what did kill the dinosaurs? One of the leading contenders is a group of volcanoes in India called the Deccan Traps. These volcanoes erupted 66 million years ago, releasing a huge amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This would have caused global warming, ocean acidification, and widespread anoxia or lack of oxygen in the oceans, all of which would have made it difficult for life to survive. In fact, some scientists argue that the warming caused by the Deccan Traps may have been the primary driver of the mass extinction, while the asteroid impact was either a contributing factor or not necessary at all. Okay, but what about that blue chicken? Well, in 2020, researchers proposed that a large avian dinosaur, which they nicknamed the blue chicken, may have played a role in the mass extinction. The blue chicken was a flightless bird that lived in what is now North America, and its fossil record shows that it went extinct right before the asteroid impact. But the researchers proposed that the blue chicken may have been a sort of ecological dead end, a failed experiment in evolution that contributed to the overall decline of biodiversity at the end of the Cretaceous. Basically, their weird evolutionary trajectory meant that they weren't very good at adapting to changing environments, which is why they went extinct so early. And since they were such large, flightless birds, their disappearance would have had cascading effects on the ecosystem, potentially leading to the mass extinction. So was it really just an asteroid, or was it something else? Well, it's probably a bit of both. The asteroid definitely played a role in the mass extinction, but the Deccan Traps probably contributed as well. And who knows, maybe the blue chicken played a small part too.